Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Gretchen, and today I'm going to do my first review for the Women's Prize for Fiction Longlist, and today's pick is 8 Lives of a Century-Old Trickster by Mirinae Lee. And first of all, I will say that is a great title for a book, and it immediately had me intrigued because I had no idea what I was getting into. Now, the story starts in a nursing home, and we have a woman that is kind of coping with a lot. She's going through a divorce. She has this career that really isn't going the way that she wants it to go, and she finds herself working in this nursing home. And basically what she's doing is she's working with these people as they are getting close to death on writing their obituaries and working with them to write their legacy and narrate and pen their obituaries. And during that process, she meets a woman called Miss Mook, and the story picks up from there. And basically the rest of the book follows us as the reader, as well as the woman writing the obituary or helping to assist write the obituary, learn about everything that happened in Miss Mook's life. And what we find, and I will say this book immediately had me gripped after the little prologue, because we come to find out about a little bit about Miss Mook, and then she tells us that she was a trickster and she had all of these things that she was during her life, and we would learn about each of them. And those things included slave, escape artist, murderer, terrorist, spy, lover, and mother. And automatically, like, once I heard that, like, this woman had all of these different stories and we were going to learn all of those things about her, I was immediately intrigued. However, I started to lose more and more interest as the book progressed. Now, I am not saying that this was a bad book. It ended up being a perfectly fine book, but after being hooked at the beginning and learning about what we were in store for and just having my attention wrapped, and I just couldn't wait to start learning about all of these different things that she did, I was just, like I said, I started to get a little deflated as the book started to progress, and we learned about some of those things that she was, and they just maybe just didn't live up to the hype that I was expecting, or maybe they weren't as exciting stories as I thought they would be. But yeah, sadly, I just really started to lose attention over the course of the book. However, there were some of the sections that were very memorable. Some of them were very heartbreaking to learn about all of these different things that Miss Mook went through during her life. And eventually, one of the biggest things we learn about is how she eventually went from being a North Korean to escaping to the South. And there were so many things that happened to her along the way. Some were good, but some were terrible. And I really appreciated the way that Lee was able to write these stories. They were very interesting. They were very well written. Her writing is actually really beautiful. She's a debut author, so that makes me happy to know that we can hopefully expect more work from her. But at the end of the day, when this book started, I was looking for adventure. I was looking for excitement. And although I got that, by the time we got to the end and we kind of learned like the last aha, like putting all the pieces together type of moment, I just wasn't as invested in the story anymore. And that was just really sad for me because I wanted that momentum to just keep up the entirety of the story. So this was very one-sided for me. Unfortunately, unfortunately, all of the good for me of the story was more toward the beginning, and it was still evident in the middle, and it did pick up again slightly, maybe in the last 20 or 30 pages, but it just wasn't enough to keep my interest the whole time. And sadly, I ended up landing on a 3 with this book. However, I think that there's definitely a reader out there for this that is going to get that level of excitement from start to finish. I will say one of the positives of this book was it did force me to learn a lot more about Korean history. I was reading this also along with Mater 2-10 from the International Booker long list. So those are both Korean books, and it was kind of a nice like companion because I was learning the history of Korea for both of those books at the same time. So that was kind of nice. I do think that there's going to be a lot of readers out there that really gel with this and enjoy it from start to finish. Like I said, I don't think it was a bad book. It was a very interesting story, but I, as a reader, within like the last month or so, I have had such an issue personally with pacing, and I know I've brought this up in some of my other reviews. I am just struggling with finding those books that grab my attention from the beginning and keep my attention through the duration of the book, and that could just be a me problem and not the book. So I'm curious to know if there are any of you out there that have read this book that really were captivated by it from start to finish, or if you had a similar experience to me where it started off really strong and solid and then started to fizzle out toward the end. So this is my first review from the Women's Prize for Fiction. I have read, I think, 3 or 4 other books already that I will be filming reviews for soon and hopefully getting those out there. But we're kind of starting off middle of the road. I wasn't blown away by this, but I didn't hate it either. So we're gonna call it a win, and until we read again, bye.